All right, peeps, got another video. Got a fresh cookie. Soft and chewy. The wife made cookies right in the middle when I was gonna do my videos, so I had to go grab them before somebody else eats them. Today, we're finally, that's a good cookie. We're gonna finally open up this box, because in my last video that I just released, the mesh video, using these two to mesh with the switch down here, it's down there. Now, I can finally open the box and show you what's in here that's gonna work with this. Let's have a look. Oh, as I'm opening the box, you can give a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Please? Okay, let's get through this. Oh yeah. Sweet, not showing you that. You'll have to come back and watch more content to see what that is. Oh, another box. What's this? Ah, yes. This is going to go into another video that I have a very, very good idea that I've been writing my notes down for that you guys are all going to like, hopefully, because you're liked and subscribed, you're going to see it. But the last piece in this box is the new, just released, well, maybe a couple months ago, the new Grandstream GWN 7710R. Now I have to look on my screen for that because it is so new and I don't have it in my little brain to the exact number. This is a outdoor PoE switch, and it is shiny. Before I dive too far, what is in this box? Manual. Anything in the manual? No? Hey, they usually put a sticker in here. Oh, there it is. Grandstream puts a sticker with the usernames and passwords. Well, username's always admin, but their password that's generated for all their devices and the MAC address. We got the pole mount or maybe wall mount for the switch. Oh, something fell. We have concrete anchors. We have some stainless steel ring clamps that you can screw and they tighten to a pole. Oh yes, we will need this little green piece because one of the ways I'm going to connect this switch is with that. I'm going to put this back in there, that back in there. I'm going to show you this switch. Let's have a look here. We have a outdoor rated switch to go on a pole. Now in the demo here, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to use this and this. We're going to mesh this stuff to this guy with a camera that's over there, not on the desk. And I'm going to put this outside of my fence for the winter. So when they asked me if there's anything I want to review, I said, yes, I want this switch. Now, this switch, I think it's, I push on it, get it inside. I'll put a picture also, but just so you guys can see, can be powered a few ways. We have DC 48, and on one of my examples here I'm going to show you, there are many ways to power this that are very effective. And I'll show you the demos there. So it's got DC power in and 4 PoE out ports plus a PoE in port. Now the PoE in port can be the 5th port if you are powering it with DC. It also has a 1 gig SFP cage to put in. Oh, I forgot to put them on my desk. I had some bi-die connectors that I put here, but I was cleaning up my desk to put my Christmas tree on here, and I forgot to put them back up there, but they're here. So you can power this with PoE Plus, DC, and have it connected. Now I was reading online, and I'll pull a little picture here, why would we want DC only or PoE in? Now, if we have DC, which is one of the ways that could be done, we could do that by solar. So if you have like a solar setup, like on a shed or something like that, you could put this in your shed and power it, and then run a single mode or multi-mode, whichever way you want, outdoor rated fiber cable to this to give it internet. Or if you wanted to mesh with this, which is what we're going to do, you can connect this to the network. Pretty sweet to do. I did find when I was reading online that these guys come out. So when you're doing a wiring, you can put all your wire in there and then push these back through. Very nice and handy, you can do that. For something pretty small, it sure is designed very nice. It's even got a ground strap on the back, just in case you mount this to a plastic pole or to a building that you still need grounding for. Some of the specs we have here. 5 gigabit RJ45, like I said. 4 PoE ports out. 1 could be in, and it actually says it in, so when you connect this and you're using an injector, or if you have a long cable going to like a shop or something like that and you have this outside for cameras or something like that, it actually says PoE in, so you got 4 PoEs out and 1 PoE in to power the actual switch. Like I said, it's got an SFP cage in there because we can do multi-mode or single mode. Single mode, my favorite. IP66 dustproof waterproof rating. That's pretty good. So it can go to negative 40 degrees Celsius to positive 60 degrees Celsius. Local and GWN and GDMS networking. So you could add this to your local firewall. So if you have like a 7003, like what I have over there, it will manage this. Or my favorite will be in the GDMS. And I'm going to show you guys that. Built-in QoS allow prioritization for network traffic. So if you have a camera that's one more important than the other, maybe, possibly, or if you have a phone because you're using this in like maybe a shed, you can prioritize that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug all this in. I'm going to give you guys some great examples of how you can do this. So what we're going to do, I'll switch the camera around and I'll show you some examples, and then we'll come back and go from there. Before we could do anything with this switch, because I'm going to show you how to use the GDMS instead of locally, we need to add the switch. Before we can add the switch, we need to take this gasket out, push our cable through here. Now, I have this plugged into my switch right here, which has PoE++ in it, and it's going to power this switch. But after that, I'm going to show you some other ways to power this switch. And yes, we need to plug it into port 5, which is PoE in. If we plug this in, it should come online. And there it is, it's booting. Inside of every Grandstream, or on the back side or underneath of a Grandstream device, they have the unique MAC address and password, plus the little sticker that I have. So I'm going to use this to add it to the Grandstream cloud, and then we'll see it come online. So we go to Devices, make sure we're in the Jason's lab, go to Devices, and then at the very top we'll click Add. I'm going to call this Outdoor Switch. I'm going to actually call it Outdoor Mini Switch. Then what we do is squint real bad to see the MAC address and the password on here. Add. And if you put the wrong password in, or the MAC address, it won't work. Let me just see here. Yeah, I probably put the password in wrong, so let's retype that, because they're small. These pieces of paper are really, really small. There we go. It's added. This will start blinking a little bit as it's taking firmware and going online. As it's doing that, I'm going to let you guys know, I am going to show you this connected to it and meshed, and I'm going to put it outside later, show you guys that it's meshing. I have a camera right there too that I'm going to add to it, so that will be online. There's also different ways to connect to this. We have DC. I have a DIN rail power supply just out of my reach, figures, with some DC power wire. We can power it with, obviously, PoE, which is what I'm doing right now. But to connect to it, we could also use fiber. Now I'm going to show you guys some ways of connecting it. I have SFP 1 gig using multi-mode, And then I have two different types of single mode BiDi. I have LC and SC connectors that will work in here, and I've already tested it because it does work. So it should be online now. Let's see here. Outdoor mini switch, there it is. We see it, it's online. I don't know if there's any firmware for it yet, so let's have a quick look here. Upgrade. Is there any firmware for this guy? Outdoor mini switch, firmware, upgrade, official. Let's see if there's any firmware. Save. Back to our devices. Nope, it looks like it's got the right firmware. So now I'm going to disconnect it, set this all up, and then I'll show you different ways of powering it. So hold on here. The first thing we had to do is add it to the cloud so that way it's registered and ready to go. So we have a external DC DIN rail power supply. This one's from Fast Cabling. I really like this device. Probably over more power than what we need. It's a 120 watt variable, 48 volt to 52 volts. Perfect for devices like this. I'll put a link down below where you guys can buy one of these because they work really, really, really well. I have some power cable that I'm going to use to power this device, plus a single mode fiber cable that we can connect this so we have network connectivity with a BiDi single mode transceiver. I don't think I put this in, so what we need to do is take the bottom of this gasket off because I already put the end on here, which just allows us to do it, because there's little slits in here that allow you to open them up when you have cable in there. So we'll push this through, plug it in. Plug that in. We'll take our connector or our transceiver and push it in there too. And since I have a cap on here, we have to take the cap off. Slide it in. Plug it in. And we have to add power. Power being on the other side of my desk where I didn't know where there was an open plug. And we can see that the box is powering up, or the switch is powering up. We can see that the green light is already transmitting signal because it's connecting to the network. If we give it a couple seconds here, we will see it come online. And there it is. Outdoor mini switch is online. And to show you that, just so you know, we can click on it. And if we go to ports, we'll see that the port 6 is active for our uplink, which is right here, and you'll see that it is showing SFP. Now, I'm going to have different ways of powering this to do this and make it work. I'm going to mesh this access point that's already set up in the previous video to connect to this, and I'm going to run power to this switch, and it's going to connect in my backyard. So this BiDi works just fine. I'll put a link to the other transceivers that work with this switch down below. Usually the fs.com's ones works, or these ones are cheaper. I think they're called GWN or something like that. They're just, you buy 4 of them on Amazon. I'll put a link below for them. They work really good. And my favorite single mode optical fiber cable, you get on Amazon for about $30. I think this is a 75-foot one. I trip over it all the time because I'm always using it for different projects. And we'll put that below. Before I go, I'll show you guys how to put this in too. So if you open this up on the side here, put this in like this. These slide in just like that. They go in from the bottom, just so you guys know. This cable is a little bit too small, but I'm just showing you how it goes in there. And the top one is also, just so you know, the other two are open too, so you can slide your cable in there. If you ever put your ends on and you can't get it in there. Then we just slide them in like that. Okay, we take the cover, when it's mounted on a pole or on the fence or wherever you're going to put it, and put it in like that. And then it just sits. Nice, simple, awesome switch. Very, 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 very affordable and very reliable. I love Grandstream equipment, and I'm glad that they released this. and this big guy right here. I believe Willie Howe got the better version of this, but oh well, doesn't matter. I'm just using it for examples and playing around with. And this I've had for about a year now, maybe a year and a half. I play with it all the time, test it, and it works great. Meshing on this works good, and it's going to work good with this. So hold on, I'm going to mount this in the backyard. Actually, you know what? I'm going to disconnect this fiber cable, and I'm going to plug in this cable, and we're going to see it mesh. So hold on. Now, it figures that I didn't have the transceiver cover, but I'll put that on there after. Let's grab a cable here. I'm going to use a simple cable just for the show here. We're going to plug our access point into port 4. Plug our little grommet back in here. Put our switch cover back on. And it's still being powered by the DIN rail power supply. The nice thing about doing DC is you can go a far distance, and if you have a fiber cable, or if you have a hybrid cable which carries DC and fiber, you can go a good distance, other than PoE. But we'll plug this in. It will power up, and I'm going to be right back because this is going to take about 3 minutes or 4 minutes to come online, and I need a glass of water. So I'll leave this right here. It will mesh, and then we'll see this come online, and I'll show you that too. So hold on. I forgot to add something, so I'm going to add it here. A long-time subscriber, who I'm not going to name, watched me do the video on this and said, hey, you should try 2.5 gig SFP modules in this device. And I said, well, I kind of don't really need it, and I don't have anything. It's 2.5, and I want to spend my money on something else. And he goes, you know what? I'm going to sponsor you some. So he sent me 4. Now, they work in this unit, and as you can see, there's one in here, and there's one over there. Now, the caveat for this is Grandstream doesn't make a switch that is multi-gig on the SFP cages. So the reason and how I have this working is because in my GCC 6010 or my 7002, they have cages that are available. So in there, I'll take a picture and show you. It works, linking. It doesn't work in my link aggregate switch because it's either 1 gig or 10 gig, but as long as it's connected to the 7002, 7003, and the GCC 6010, it will work just fine. Now I've tested these modules, which are the SFP 2.5G-SX-85, and they were okay. 10 minutes. Had to get some water. The access point is online, connected. We're using DIN rail power to power the switch. We've meshed this in the last video I have, and it is connected. And on my screen here, we can see that the 7710R switch is online, and the access point, the 7660LR, is online and working. If I plug my laptop in here, we can do a speed test. Let's try that. Got myself a cable and my USB-C adapter. We'll turn off the Wi-Fi on my laptop so that way we can see that too. It's gonna get messy on the desk here, but is what it is. Plug this in. Turn off some Wi-Fi. Oh yeah, we gotta take the cover off. This is just for an example to show you guys that it's online and working, because somebody might say it's not, but whatever. And we'll go to port 2. 2 lights up, and we'll make sure that my laptop has connection. So we'll go here. Network. We do have an IP address. Let's see if we can ping something first. Ping google.ca. We're online. Again, we're still here, connected. Let's do a speed test. I think we're going to probably get a good speed test out of this. Yeah, but just so you remember, I know we're in the same room. The access point that this is meshing to is just right over here. It's not that far. But the next video, I'm going to do 2 parts for this. I'm going to put this outside, mount it on my fence. I'm going to run a cable all the way over to this, and then I'm going to power it with this injector to get it online, because I have a spare one of these injectors outside already. And then we're going to see how well that meshes. And I might even take my camera right there and mount it to the fence. That way we can see it working and stuff like that. So for now, I hope that this will help show you guys that this is all working and you guys like these kind of things. There's so many different variations of using this. And just so you guys know, I tested this cable. I'm not going to do it right now because the video is probably getting long. Using a pair of single mode bi-die transceivers. These use the SC connector, which is the larger one, not the smaller one like the LC connector, and it worked just fine too. So there's many options, but if you don't want to go cables like this, you can go to ISP supplies and you can buy 2 different types of cable. We can do power hybrid, which has LC connector with power, or you can get a cable that's made just like this one and use PoE with Ethernet and Cat6 and fiber to use with this switch, or use with this, whichever you want, except for power. This doesn't take power. So for now, I'm gonna leave it at that. The next video, you'll see me having it mounted outside and I'll show you it all working, and we'll go from there. Hopefully the video is encouraging to show you guys this switch. I sure like it. Putting it on the fence will work really well. And we'll leave it out there for the whole winter. So we'll go from there. See you guys later.